As you can see, I am soaking wet, bro. I just had to, it's been raining all day, but I just wanted to go outside and take some laps, and to have a conversation with God. And bro, I sat there and I sobbed, bro. I literally just cried for so many laps, not out of sadness, out of gratitude. Uh, I think for a long time when I would feel impatience, right, like where my life wasn't where I wanted it to be or whatever, or I wasn't receiving the things that I would want, you know, I would come to God all entitled and being like, God, you see me doing all this shit and you still won't give it to me, like F you, that type of stuff. And I think things have changed, you know what I mean, within the last like couple months where it's more so, you know, it, it's more so just sticking and being obedient and finding holiness you know, in the time, in the window, in the waiting, you know what I mean? And when we wait, what do waiters do? They serve, and so while I'm waiting, I serve. And so instead of pushing God away as I'm waiting, or when I'm feeling impatient, I say, okay, I'm feeling impatient because I'm just getting excited. Like I can't wait for cool things to happen and stuff like that. And and root myself in gratitude, and root myself and lean harder. During times of impatience, lean even harder than I would when I'm not impatient. We're saying, "Oh God, I'm getting so excited because I know you're about to. Like, I'm getting impatient and excited because I know you're about to cook. So let me, like, I know you're about to cook. I know you're about to make changes happen in my life. You've already, changed so much stuff in my life, and my life is incredibly beautiful now. And so then I just like walked around and expressed so much gratitude because, like, man, I've had some. For a long time, I would just like when I would talk to God, it would be in times of when really bad things were happening. I would come and like ask God for stuff, but I wouldn't read the Bible. I wouldn't talk to Him in the way and communicate with Him in the way that I was supposed to. I'd only communicate with Him, and I would say, I only want to talk to you in this very specific way, and if we don't do this, I don't want to talk to you at all, right? And like, how am I to make demands? I'm just a human, right? and and a lot of times I would be entitled, and like I want to come to him in the right spots. I mean, I'll come to him almost as if he was some sort of piggy bank. You know what I mean? Some sort of, if I put, or like, transaction, like a vending machine. Oh, I put in a couple bucks, you give me a bag of chips. Like, oh, if I do the things that you're telling me to do, if I read the Bible, like if I do this and I pray and stuff like that, then I expect you to give me good things. So even in times where I was, doing the works, it wasn't faith based. It wasn't, because I love God. It wasn't because I trusted Him. It was because I saw Him as a transactional thing. And so things have just changed so beautifully, where it's about surrender. You know what I mean? I fully surrendered my life to Him, and things have just opened up and become so beautiful. I mean, like, just today, like, I went and I looked at the house. I went and toured the house. I sat there for an hour, and like, it's really possible I might get this house. And and then I thought to myself, oh well, how am I gonna get the money for it? And right when I had that thought, my second thought was, oh, bro, you don't got to worry about that. God's got us. If God wants us to have this, He's gonna make it happen. And we trust in Him, bro. He wouldn't show us His house unless He had some plan for me to be able to get it. You know what I mean? Um, and then I thought about, like, dude, I got new subscribers, so welcome. Dude, this is like a dream come true. Like, this is a dream come true. I think I got 2 new subscribers. I've never really gotten new subscribers. This is amazing. This is like the greatest thing of all time. I'm so grateful. So thank you guys for subscribing to my channel. This is so cool. This is the coolest fucking thing. And I also, like, I've been getting a lot of views. Like, holy crap, dude. And when I go back to that very first video, the discomfort is a North Star, I put in the gosh, oh, I almost said a bad word. I put in the description, thank you to future me for buying the ticket. And for you guys don't know about the metaphor, is for you guys that are new, is my therapist one time said to me, uh, yeah, my dad told me this story about this man who God was like, you're gonna win the lottery. You're gonna win the lottery. And so the man never won the lottery, and he dies. And when he's at heaven's gates, he says, God, like, you told me I was gonna win the lottery. Why would you? But I never did. So what the heck? And God was like, you never bought a ticket. You've been, you know what I mean? So it's like, we're ordained for success. And as we do things and we trust in God and we lean with faith, we still have to buy the ticket. And so I said in my first video in the description is, thank you for that buying the ticket. And my version of the ticket was posting videos. I can't say I want to be, I want to be a YouTuber and never post a YouTube video, and then God promising me I'm a YouTuber, and I get to heaven. I was like, dude, no one ever saw my videos, and he's like, you never posted one, right? And so, thank you guys for freaking coming, dude. That's amazing. Oh my God, that's just so exciting. And other like, I think other than news is like, when people talk about manifestation and stuff like that, and essentially like you embodying the person you wish to be, right? To get the thing that you want, because you have to attract that energy. Like if you want to be, rich, successful, you want to be a book writer, whatever it is, whatever the thing you want to be is, you embody what that person does. You write out like, what would my day to day look like if I was this person? You embody that, and you almost do a form of like, make it, fake it till you make it. But to me, I felt it was very, I felt all of that stuff was disingenuous, and because in truth, seek God and all things will be added unto you. All you have to do, and seeking God doesn't mean I'm going to pretend like I'm a God seeker and I'm going to seek Him, like, and then eventually I'll seek Him. Like, that's not what that means. What is seeking out? What is it? It means be yourself. It means, instead of putting layers on to become something, you know what I mean? It's like in the book of Haggai, essentially he's talking about greed. He speaks through Haggai, and Haggai is just talking to the people, and he just kind of like, no matter how much cloth or like clothes you put on, you're still not warm enough, right? And it's something like that where, yes, we can get what we want by pretending to be that person, and then being attracted, like having that universal energy. But in truth, all that's being asked of you is the opposite of that. Instead of putting things on, remove things. Become more vulnerable with God, vulnerable with yourself. Remove the layers of deception, the layers that your subconscious has built up, all the defense mechanisms that it's built up to protect the core you from ever being hurt again. Because at one time the core you was hurt, and it built up a freaking wall. And it's about uncovering all of that, and being vulnerable, and unveiling things, and almost being like a crab without a shell, right? Like, it's asking you, without all that armor, who are you? And when you find out who that person is, like, children are the most spiritual beings. Children are the closest things to God. And so when you find your inner child and you reestablish a relationship with them, you'll reestablish a relationship with God, because they were always close to God. Maybe not in like a religious sense, right? But in a sense of just like curiosity, in a sense of being tapped in and plugged in, and seeing beauty in life, and not being pushed down by society. And so, in truth, you could do the manifestation stuff, but the much harder thing to do is not to become someone not to pretend to become someone you want to be. It's to understand that you are everything you ever wanted to be, and finding that version of you, and giving grace to all the versions of you, and through that, becoming closer to God, or the divine, or the universe, or whatever you all want to call it for yourselves. Obviously, for me, Jesus is King, right? And so I think that's a very hard thing to do. And I also cried on this walk, because it's like, dude, I've been through so much. And in all phases of life, not even like I've been through stuff. I mean, a lot of stuff's happened in my life where I'm depressed and I'm sad about it, and I was just like, I had so much trauma, and so much complex trauma, and all these things. But at the same time, during those times of me being traumatized, I still treated people poorly, and I still was the villain in their story. And I can't justify that behavior by saying, well, I was traumatized, so that's okay. No. So it's also like giving yourself grace for hurting others, which is a very hard thing, and forgiving yourself. And I'm still having a hard time. I still at times think about things I've done in the past, and I can't forgive myself. And that's something I want to work on, because you can only forgive others as much as you forgive yourself, and give yourself grace. And so I think shadow work is also about that. And it's like when you rip up, when you take your shell off and you see this piece of sludge, and your first instinct is to look at it with disgust, and you just think it's vile and diabolical, and now you're being your first thought. The second thought needs to be, okay, and I love you, bro. It's real ugly. It's real ugly. And we've done a lot of bad things, and there's a lot of shame in there. There's a lot of vengeance, a lot of just betrayal, a lot of, judgment, treating people badly, treating myself badly, allowing myself to be treated poorly by others, like all of that. And looking at that and being like, okay, it's ugly, but I love you, and I give you grace, and I give myself grace, and I think that's really hard to do, and I think I'm getting there, and so yeah, it's just like this whole walk, dude. I'm freaking soaking wet, but that whole walk was just about me saying, God, I give my life to you, man. You've always been there, whether I acknowledged it or not. You've always been there. And now that I acknowledge it, and then at times when I did acknowledge you were there, I would be like, okay, do something else. Or, I would be unsatisfied. I would ask for, another piece of clothing because I wasn't warm enough. I still didn't understand. It wasn't about surrender. It was about seeing the cool things he would do and only come to him to do cool things for me, or only come to him when I'm feeling bad. Now I got a friend, you know what I mean? Someone that me and him, we parallel play. We parallel play. We have deep conversations. We sometimes just chill. We laugh. We cry. We laugh together. Like, I have a friend now. It's not just about this made up thing that's like, that I think is a transactional thing. Me and him are homies. And so I don't know. I'm so thankful. Like, bro, I never imagined I would have subscribers. Well, I did. I knew from the beginning, obviously, because that's why I did it. But like, to be here now and see people subscribing to my and watching me and seeing me grow, and me doing the things, and finally me executing and doing the things that I said I've always wanted to do, it feels amazing. And it's all through God. And so, I don't know. I'm about to start my second week of my new job tomorrow, and we're gonna have a nice time. And oh yeah, this is. I mean, sorry for a little weird pivot, but that whiskey I drank last night, I highly recommend to anyone. It was very delicious, very delicious. But all right, sorry if that was a total ramble that made absolutely no sense. But guys, girls, gays, queers, they, them, these are everyone, anyone. Have a blessed rest of your Sunday night. I hope you had a great weekend, and I'll catch you guys on a beautiful Monday, and we're gonna get started again. Doo-doo-doo.